Do you feel it getting hotter, or is it just me? Well, if it isn't me, then it must be climate change. You might be asking, what's climate change? Well, from the researchers at the Australian Academy of Science, climate change is defined as the change in the pattern of weather and related changes in oceans, land surfaces, and ice sheets occurring over time scale of decades or longer. Sounds bad, right? Well, it is. And believe it or not, some people think that this is not real. Drawn from the Pew Research Center survey, 16% of Americans don't believe that climate change is a threat. Climate change is a severe problem that the world is facing, as it gives longer heat waves, stronger hurricanes, and leaves millions of people homeless. To prove the reality of climate change, let's state some effects. First, longer heat waves. This is a period of excessive hot weather, which may be accompanied by high humidity. Because of climate change, hot days are getting hotter and more frequent, which means fewer cold days. This is a major threat in the world because this can cause drought and wildfires in the environment. Heat waves can cause heat stress on the body when it can't cool off, and this is also a major threat in the agriculture and energy. An example of a heat wave is the Australian summer of 2012 to 2013, and which is also named the Angry Summer. The $1 billion Weather Disasters Database compiled by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration lists heat wave as number 4 of top 10 deadliest disasters in the US since 1980. A Los Angeles Times news article says that an intense heat wave broiled California on September 5, 2020, that shattered records and led people with no power and fueled several bushfires. The second effect is stronger hurricanes. Hurricanes are defined as a type of tropical cyclone with activity like thunder and lightning that develops in tropics or subtropics. Because of climate change, the average sea temperatures are rising. This means that the warmer sea produces more water vapor and more heat energy into the atmosphere, which can feed a hurricane. This is very dangerous because even a small hurricane can grow to be devastating in a small amount of time. Based on complex modeling, the NOAA has suggested that an increase of Category 4 and 5 hurricanes is likely, and the hurricane wind speeds can go up to 10%. Hurricanes can destroy buildings, houses, and the environment, and this can also cause major floods in an area. People living in hurricane-prone areas are unprepared for megastorms that are to hit. An example of this is Hurricane Katrina that devastated the US in 2005. This remains the most expensive hurricane ever recorded that costs $168 billion US. Another example is Typhoon Haiyan, which was classified as a super typhoon. This typhoon was one of the strongest of all time, which devastated the Philippines back in 2013, and we may see stronger in the future. Lastly, climate-related mass migration. Mass migration refers to migration of large amounts of people from one geographical place to another. This is caused by climate change as well. This is bad because not all the people moving will be able to find a home. Food and water will not be able to sustain all the people that are moving, and supplies will be scarce. And the main reason for this is climate change. People are being forced to move out of their homes to safety. This may be because of drought or floods, and the houses themselves may be destroyed, and hurricanes and wildfires may be the reason for this. In 2007, for example, crop failures, livestock deaths, and water scarcity, drawn from climate-related drought, forced nearly 1.5 million people to cities from rural areas in Syria, which helped spark the horrifying civil war which displaced many more. Another example of mass migration is that after the typhoons hit the Philippines in 2013, nearly nearly 15 million people in the Philippines were forced to be displaced from their houses. And these are just some effects of climate change, even scratching the surface. All in all, we're in a bad situation as climate change continues to worsen by how time goes by. Unless we, the people of Earth, do something about this, in the future, we may have the hottest day that we'll experience. We might experience the strongest hurricane to ever hit, and we might see the largest amount of people lose their homes at once. All this because of one thing, and that is climate change. This is to inform people about the dangers and effects of climate change in the world. What can you do to help people in these times? How can we, people of Earth, prevent or lessen the frequency of these disasters happening ever again? Are you doing your part?